So first question, Rabindranath Tagore's objections to nationalism and patriotism were that Rabindranath's objection to nationalism and patriotism were that a nation is an organized self-interest of a people. A nation is an organized self-interest of a people and not a voluntary self-expression of individuals or a social being. First is correct, but second is not correct. Racial organization of any nation was unaccepted by because it suppressed diversity for the experience of cultural security. Racial organization of any nation, it is not correct. Social racial organization of any nation was unacceptable because it suppressed diversity for the experience of cultural society security. It is not correct. But first is correct. A nation is to organize self-interest of a people and not a voluntary self-expression of individuals of social beings. Second is with reference to outer space treaty. Outer space treaty is objection and provisions. Consider the following statements. Outer space treaty, its objection and provisions are 3 and 5. Like the treaty explicitly forbids any government to claim celestial resources such as moon or a planet. And 5 is as per the treaty, if a state launches a space object and retains jurisdiction and control over that object, it is also liable for damage caused by the space object. But others are not correct. Okay, first of all, first is not correct. It prohibits the launching of ballistic missiles, but not it's not private. It's private. Here we tell it's private. The launch by launching of ballistic missiles, which could be armed with WMD, warheads through space. China is not a party to the treaty, but not China is a party. The treaty explicitly forbids the Guyanese government to claim celestial resources such as moon or a planet. It's correct, and it allows space particles to hold bilateral and multilateral military exercises in space. Not, it's not correct. Or celestial or on a celestial body is not correct. It's, especially 2 4 is not correct, and 1 is not correct. As per the 5 is as per the treaty, it launches a space object and retains jurisdiction and control over that object. It is also liable for damages caused by the space object. Here parties, the treaty of principal governing activities of states of exploration of the use of outer space, including the moon and the other celestial bodies. It is parties mainly. Those are green color. Signature is yellow color and non-part is red color. So next question, with reference to the right of certiorari, consider the following statement. Right of certiorari, here 4 is correct. If certiorari, it cannot be issued for cases when the case has not been even heard by a court of law. With reference to the right of certiorari, consider the following statements. It cannot be issued for the cases when the case has not been even heard by a court of law. But others are not correct. With reference to the right of certiorari, so it can be issued only by the Supreme Court, not the High Courts, but not it's not correct. And second is certiorari can be issued to call for record the records of paper and proceedings on of an act of ordinance. So second is not correct, and it is not justiciable, not applicable for two tribunals. It's not correct. It is applicable to tribunals, and here is fourth is correct. It cannot be issued. It cannot be issued for cases when the case has not been even heard by court of law. Here you can see certificate can only be issued by the Supreme Court under Article 32. Here, a High Court under the Article 2026 or direct interior courts, tribunals, or authorities to transit to the courts of the records, proceedings, deposit and pending of or pendings therein just for security. There is a fundamental distinction between rights of prohibition and the statutory. They can issue at different stages in proceedings when an interior court takes up a hearing for a matter. It has no jurisdiction. On the other hand, if the court hears the matter or gives the decision, the party would need to move to superior court to quash the question. For common service centers are a strategic cornerstone of which of the following flagship program of the Government of India? It is Digital India program. So the common service centers are a strategic cornerstone of which of the following flagship program? It is Digital India program. So here you can see common service center, the flagship of Government Digital India program. Consider the following statements. Here both are correct. WIPO copyright treaty has provisions to extend the protection and of copyright content therein to the digital environment. WIPO performance and phonograms today recognizes moral rights of the performance for the first time and provide exclusive economic rights to them. WIPO performance and program and phonogram theory recognizes moral rights and of the performance performers for the first time and provides exclusive economic rights to them. Here it details. It provides additional protection jurisdiction. It provides additional protection for copyrights to respond to alternate advances in the information technology since the information of provides provisions previous copyright treaties before it. The WCT and WPA performance and phonogram study are together termed WPA Internet treaties. Next question: the concept of special category status states emerged based on the Gadgil formula in 1969. The concept of special category status states emerged based on the Gadgil formula in 1969. The concept of special category status states emerged based on the Gadgil formula in 1969. Special category status important. Not Second Amendment to the Constitution. Not State Reorganization Commission 1956. Not post-liberalization discourse. But first is the correct Gadgil formula in 1969. The most important characteristic of India's foreign trade throughout the colonial period was the generation of a large export surplus. This was problematic because several essential commodities like food grains become conspicuous by their acute scarcity in the domestic market. Several essential commodities. The most important characteristic of Indian foreign trade throughout the colonial period was the generation of a large export surplus. Several essential commodities like food grains become conspicuous by their acute scarcity in the domestic market. 1 is correct, and 3, the surplus was used to make payments for the expenses incurred by an office set up by the colonial government in Britain, leading to the drain of wealth. But 2 is not correct. It led to an unprecedented flow of gold and silver into India, which devalued in the Indian currency. It's not correct. The surplus was used to make payment for the expenses incurred by an office set up by the colonial government in Britain, leading to the drain of wealth. So 1 and 3 are correct. Answer the following statement. So here 1 and 3 are correct. Cloud leopards and red panda are facing habitat loss and poaching threat for the meat and medicinal use. It's correct. And 3. Arabian Sea humpback whales migrate towards the India's west coast from the Gulf. Arabian Sea humpback whales migrate towards India's west coast from the Gulf, Middle East. So 1 and 3 are correct. Okay, 2 is not correct. Northern river terrapin is largely found in Rajasthan. It's not correct. The northern river terrapin largely found in West Bengal. The clouded leopards is found in Meghalaya, Mizoram, Sikkim, and Assam. While the red panda is largely found in Sikkim, Western Arunachal Pradesh, North Bengal, parts of Meghalaya. Arabian Sea humpback face threats from accidental enlarged in India facing years, steep strikes and seismic exploration. Humpback whales migrate towards India's west coast from Oman, and there have been several instances of these gargantuan species. It is a party of India is a party of International Whaling Commission that is committed to the protection of the whales and its habitats in Indian waters. Terrapins have been exploited for illegal trade across borders, especially for the meat and carapace. So clouded leopard and red panda facing habitat loss from poaching, threat and meat and medicines. Okay. Well, northern river terrapin found in, so please remember, West Bengal, and clouded leopard Meghalaya, Sikkim. Others are some red panda, Sikkim, Western Arunachal Pradesh, North Bengal. So next question, the compulsory. It is a compulsory termination of India's citizens by the central government. If it is a compulsory termination of Indian citizenship by the central government, if the citizen has shown disloyalty to the Constitution of India, it is a compulsory termination of Indian citizens by the central government if the citizen has shown disloyalty to the Indian Constitution. And second, the citizen has been ordinarily resident out of India for 4 years continuously, but it's not correct. So 1 is the correct. So the citizens has obtained the citizenship by fraud. The citizen has shown displayed disloyalty to the Constitution of India, but not to the laws, because most lawbreakers are only imprisoned or punished. The citizens has unlawfully traded or communicated with the enemy during the war. The citizen has within 5 years after registration or nationalization has been imprisoned in any country for 2 years. The major purpose of the Indigo Consortium, with support from the USA, is to set up the LIGO India detector, which would help enhance the network of gravitational wave detectors worldwide. So here you can see. So, but second is not correct. Make finding about cosmic radiation available so that it strengthens research synergy in theoretical physics. But Indigo set up is with support of USA set up in LIGO India detector, which would help enhance the network of gravitational wave detectors worldwide. Thank you. Next time we discuss again. Thank you.